Hello, welcome back to another live, people. Welcome back to the YouTube channel, people. Welcome back to the GVO show, people. Make sure you are leaving a like on the stream, whether you're watching this live or on the playback, people. Make sure you are subscribing. We're trying to reach 1K before the end of the season, people. Alfie, back again
Yeah,
with another
back
episode, bro. How
again,
you
man.
been,
Come
man?
on. Yeah, I'm doing
How you
good, man. Yourself?
Yeah, man, all good, all good, all good, man. Like, it's been a mad weekend. It's been a mad weekend. Unfortunately, international break. Unfortunately, we are at the stage of the shitters. The shitters. We're last international break before the end of the season. 2 weeks. 2 weeks without watching West Ham is cool, but 2 weeks of international break, I can't be bothered. I can't be bothered necessarily. Like, I don't. I'm not watching. I respectfully, I'm not watching that. I am doing my own thing, sort of thing. But let's
Yeah.
discuss the weekend, man. Like, before we discuss Arsenal, bruv, Newcastle won the Carabao Cup against Liverpool, man. Did you manage to catch the game?
I watched the whole game. I thought Newcastle played fantastic. Absolutely played Liverpool off the park and thoroughly deserved to win the trophy at the end of it. The fact that it's their first trophy in 70 years just
Hmm.
shows how much it meant to the team. Um, and like Omar said, you got to put some respect on Eddie Howe's name. Like this guy came from making sure that Bournemouth survived the drop in League Two to now winning a trophy with Newcastle. It's brilliant, but fair play to Newcastle for winning the trophy. Unlucky Liverpool. Looks like you're only winning the league this year.
Yeah, like I think if any fan base deserve it, it's them. If
Yeah,
any fan base deserve it, it's Newcastle, man. Like as I said in my video, I can relate almost to a Newcastle fan a bit, not just because of the trophy, but like I felt like in the Mike Ashley era and the GSB era sort of thing, like I could really relate to a Newcastle fan with the bad ownership to putting them in a championship for a bit to then rising back up.
twice.
Yeah, yeah, twice, and like they've gone through it with like Steve McLaren and all them managers there. I can't remember who was the guy in between that era, bro, Benitez. I can't remember his name. It was like Cavier or some shit. I don't know, John
It was
Carver or whatever.
John Carver was caretaker manager. Come out saying he was the best coach in the Premier League. I remember that quote.
Yeah, bro, they've been through that. They went the big Wonga sign on their shirt and that era of
Yeah,
Newcastle was nuts, bro. That was
Mike
terrible.
Ashley changing the name of St James's Park to the Sports Direct Arena. Like,
God, bro, he was having pints in a crowd, like in the Newcastle shirt, pretending like he's one of the guys and stuff. Like they've gone through it. They've gone through it, and they deserved it from minute 1 to minute 90. I can't lie. That midfield that they have, Joe Linton, Sonali, and Gimaresh, that is balance, that is power, that is technical ability, that is that is just balance. Like I think also we care too much about style of players, fans. Like them, like the way Eddie Howe set them up, you can be defensively stable and still play on the front foot at the same time. And Eddie Howe managed to nullify everything Liverpool was given to them. It also looked like Liverpool took their mentality from winning the Premier League, basically winning the Premier League, to the Champions League and the Carabao Cup with their complacency. Like, I don't know why you're complacent in the final.
doesn't make any sense. Like,
Yeah.
you look at where they were last season when they got to the Carabao Cup final. They took it seriously. I mean, fair
Hmm.
enough, they brought a load of kids on, but they still managed to get the job done. Yes, it was against a Chelsea team under Pochettino, but that's what you've got to do in finals. You've got to do your best and come out with a win, and that's exactly what Newcastle did. Liverpool, it just didn't seem like they turned up. Salah went missing again. Like,
Hmm.
I hardly saw him on the ball, and
Yeah.
he was quickly taken off of it. Livramento had a brilliant game at left back.
Yep.
That midfield three, Tonali, Guimaraes, and Joe Linton. Speaking of Joe Linton, who'd have thought we'd be talking about Joe Linton 5, 6 years ago, saying he's got quality?
Oh yeah. Definitely not.
Like this,
He was a
this
striker,
guy
bro.
was, yeah, this guy was an out of form striker. Couldn't score in a brothel. Now he's a mainstay in Newcastle's midfield, putting in
Hmm.
quality performances week in, week out.
Yep.
Speaks for
Like
itself.
he was meant to be like a 40 million striker flop sort of thing. Like I remember him signed around a time where Steve Bruce was there and all that. And
Yeah,
now he's a midfielder. Like that is all Eddie Howe, by the way. Like that whole midfield is Eddie Howe. Whether it's Gimaresh, whether it's Tonali, whether it's converting Joe Linton to a centre midfielder, that was all him. I never heard of Joe Linton being a midfielder before Eddie Howe was there. Like playing like they were missing Gordon, Botman, and Lewis Hall, yeah. But players like Livermore and Trippier, Jacob Murphy on the right, Harvey Barnes on the left, but also Dan Burn, who is a Geordie, by the way. That would have been completely euphoric for him to score in the final. Then all of those players that they were missing, cool. It like you're gonna miss them, but all those players that stepped up need a lot of credit because like everyone should rise in the final anyway. But they saw that as their opportunity. Like we can be big game players here, sort of thing. We can be big game players, and we're gonna step up to the plate. And I just think like if you're gonna approach a final as the underdog, yeah, you kind of got to put it on the team that feel like they are the favorites because like the team that feel like they're favorites is already got to their head the fact that okay we've got
Yeah,
more we already know we're better than them sort of thing. They're gonna naturally come in with that mentality anyway. Like you
like
can't
they're
change
gonna walk it.
yeah, exactly. And Liverpool were walking alone. Like Newcastle literally just outplayed them from minute 90. They had the intensity. Like I've watched Newcastle this season where they may not look their best, but they're still up there in the table, or the opposite where they don't look their best, but it is what it is, sort of thing. And despite all the trials and tribulations this season, they'll never forget this moment.
No,
They'll never forget this moment. Like I'm not trying to hear top four over a trophy after you're seeing that. After seeing how you celebrate that, nobody's celebrating top four like that. Because even the people that are saying top four over a trophy, are you celebrating top four like that? Are
no.
you doing a parade for top four? You're not. I'm not trying to hear it. What is with the mentality? Like, go and win a cup. This is why I demand West Ham to go for the cups because it's possible for moments like that. Yes, we've won a Conference League, but man, acting like, okay, you win the Conference League, you don't have to do anything anymore. That's not how football works. Football doesn't end after you finally end your trophy drought. Like, and that feeling of ending a large trophy drought, there's nothing like it. There's nothing like it. I felt exactly what they felt like a couple of years ago, and to be honest, I'm happy for them. I was always wanted them to win. I've not even got anything against Liverpool. I just wanted them to win that final.
They won me 60 quid as well.
Really?
Yeah, I'm loving life, mate.
What you betting on that whole final? Yeah.
Yeah, what's it called? I bet Newcastle to win, both teams to score, and Isak to score.
Mm.
Managed to come away with 60 quid.
Nice, nice. Like Isak as well, man. Big game player.
How many times have we said it, man? How many times have I said it? We should be going after this guy.
Yeah.
You can clearly see the quality and the shithousery that he did after he scored. The way he was pointing at Van Dijk. Nah, that was
Mm.
brilliant.
Yeah. That was better than the Mbappe Gavardio celebration. That was better.
Yeah,
That was better than that. Isak did it with attitude. Like, cause like when he got that goal ruled out, I'm like, that was a bit harsh. And then he
yeah.
scored straight away.
That's
Like
elite
he was just on
mentality.
one. Yeah, he was just on one. He was like switched on from the get go. And everyone always tries to link Isak and Gimaresh away. It's going to take a lot of money to get them out of Newcastle, man. Like they're going to have to reinvest anyway. And even if they do lose Gimaresh, they've got a Tonali. Tonali's been outstanding since he's come back from the ban as well. Like he's been one of their mainstays of the whole season. He's had
Yeah,
a way better season than Gimaresh as well. Like he's just underrated because of his energy, the way he can control the game and stuff like that as well. He has everything to him. Like that's a hard to beat midfield, man. That's a very hard to beat midfield. That's probably one of the better midfields in the league. Arguably the best midfield trio. Because City's ain't on it right now. Liverpool's is good. I wouldn't say Arsenal's, but it's still good. Newcastle the best balance. It's
yeah.
not Chelsea's either.
Quick question. Whose idea was it for Alexis McAllister to man mark Dan Burn?
Yeah, I didn't get that. Because like there's two McAllisters is just about taller than Dunburn. Like you need two McAllisters, bro. What's the point? Who's telling McAllister go mark Dan Burn? The tallest player in the whole pitch. He's like 6'6", 6'7". It's ridiculous.
That's like getting Defoe to mark Crouch.
Yeah. Imagine, bro. I remember having to do that in school though, marking the tallest guy in PE. They did that to me, bro. They did that to me. Like I am sure everyone knows that already. I had to mark the tallest guy in PE who was one of the best at football because nobody else wanted to mark him, by the way. all you got to do is like push the player a bit. He wasn't
Yeah.
even near him. He wasn't even near him, bro. That's what I didn't get. That's what I didn't get that. I didn't get that. Like he didn't even get near him. It was like, what's the point of zonal marking, especially if you know you're not even near him in the first place, and especially if the guy's double your size. As Godfrey says here, Van Dijk should be marking Burn. It should be Van Dijk. That would make sense. That goal doesn't go in if Van Dijk is marking him.
No.
From a set piece as well in a final, man. How naive do you need to be to concede from a set piece in the final?
One of the things I find funny as well is the fact that Mo Salah got a lower rating at Wembley than Deji.
I think most of Liverpool's team did, just in
Yeah.
general. So what we're saying, Deji's better than Salah.
Deji outplayed the entire Liverpool starting 11 at Wembley.
But I don't even remember Deji having a touch as well. That's the funny part. And until his penalty, I don't even remember him doing anything that game. And he still did more than Salah. Do you know what it is? Salah's a great player, yeah, but him in finals is spooky, man. It's spooky.
Yeah, because he can either turn up or he doesn't. Like, I think one of the only times I've seen Salah turn up in a final was the 2019 Champions League final.
Yeah. Yeah.
And even then, even then, after he scored the penalty, he kind of went missing.
Yep. I don't see Salah rise in finals. There's a conversation for that. Salah has only two goal contributions in 9 finals.
Fucking hell.
In 9 finals? That's ridiculous. Because we always talk about GA all the time with Salah. But what about the finals? It's worth just talking about.
Is that club and country as well? Because I know that he's not. Because I know that he's not turned up in certain finals for Egypt either. Like AFCON, he's not really turned up for them.
I think this is Liverpool. I'm assuming, but if we're including that AFCON final, that probably does still play a part because he didn't rise in that AFCON final either. Oh, club and country, so it's counting the AFCON final because he did not rise in that either.
No.
He didn't rise in the AFCON final. Like Mane outplayed him, and he lost. And then they did give a guard of honor to Mane because to not upset Salah, even though every other Senegalese player got it at their club. That's peak, man. That's peak. Like Salah, man. Like, listen, you are one of the greats to an extent, but if you want to be known as as an all-timer, you have to rise it in big games. All-timers rise it in big games. And he does rise it in big league games. He does rise it in big knockout games. But
finals is where it counts.
Yeah, finals are where it counts. I don't really see big game players rise it for finals that much anyway when it comes to like the top clubs. But when you got something to prove at Newcastle, is a bit different because they haven't won a trophy in how long? They also lost the final 2 years ago. Like they were always going to rise it. I don't understand why Liverpool thought they could walk through this final. I don't understand it personally.
So what does this mean now for Newcastle then? Because they've won the Carabao Cup. Do they qualify for Conference League or?
I'm not sure, I'm not sure if the rules have changed since the format. But what I do know is that it's basically confirmed that 5th place will get Champions League in this country because it's top 2 nations that get the coefficient, I'm pretty sure.
All right then, Arsenal, top 5, that's what we want.
You aren't dropping to 6th, so I think you'll be fine. I think you'll be fine, believe it or not. Like, I don't know if they get Europe still, but I feel like they should. Yeah, like, it would be quite poetic as well. Because
even if it's not Champions League, I feel like Europa League would be like a good starting point. Getting used to being back in European football for Newcastle, because obviously, they were in the Champions League last season, but because they've been out of European football for so long, they kind of got steamrolled. Yes, they had their magic night against PSG, but apart from that, they weren't really up for it in terms of European football. Whereas if they go into the Europa League, there's more of a chance for them to compete. There's loads of squads in the Europa League that are on equal quality, maybe a bit better than Newcastle. So it'll be good for them to get into the Europa League to get that European experience. And who knows, they might even become Champions League regulars in a few years' time.
Yeah, this is the thing. They should still take any form of Europe because you only came back to any European football for one season. Like, so even if you were in the Champions League for one season, like, I don't care. You haven't been in Europe for that long. Like, in your new era, especially under the Saudi ownership, it's been one
Yeah,
season of Europe. Just take what you can get. And I'm sure the fans will because they're grateful for the trophy. Bro, Conference League is fun. Take it from me. You got a great chance of winning it. You spent more than most of the teams there. You got a better squad than most of the teams that will qualify there, as you are a Premier League team. So the away days are fun, and you should try your best still to get a trophy. It's a good chance to win something, as
and
well as the fun of the away days.
there's a higher chance we're going to see another one of them good moments where a smaller team wins a big trophy in the FA Cup because there's no big teams left apart from City, and I don't even think they'll win the FA Cup.
Yeah, there's a big chance they won't. Like, because I think whoever wins out of them and Bournemouth are winning it. Because Bournemouth have even more motivation. Them and Palace, I guess, on Fulham have the most motivation to go out there and win. Because
Are
Preston are
Forest still
beating
in it,
Fulham.
or are they out?
No, Forest are still in it,
I
but
know, I know Preston are there. Forest, Fulham,
Villa,
Bournemouth, City, Villa,
Brighton,
Brighton.
yeah.
Some good quality teams in there. It's gonna be whoever's in the final. It'll be a very very good final to watch for the neutrals.
Because the Bournemouth's come up, they've got the most motivation to win it. Because Preston are unbeaten Villa, in my opinion. So for me, like because of where they used to be, they would nearly went like Bournemouth nearly used to not exist.
Mm.
Like people forget this. Bournemouth used to nearly not exist. They were generally, you know, them things where they put the coins in that big red thing where they have to donate and stuff. They were doing that, like Save the Cherries and all that. Like Southampton were helping them out at the time because they're local, of course. Obviously, the Bournemouth don't like Southampton, but that was what was happening then. They came up from those days. Eddie Howe, funny enough, was in League One with them. Like they are on a rise. They are on a rise. So if I know they're not in the greatest of form right now, but if they can forget that and beat City on a one-off game and actually be clinical, which they are very much capable of, they've already beaten them this season at home. So I don't see why not.
I remember there was what's it called? Sky Sports released a documentary back when Bournemouth first got promoted to the Premier League. They called it From Bust to Big Time,
Yeah.
talking about them nearly going into administration, almost not existing, and now in the Premier League.
Yep. It's
Crazy.
crazy, isn't it? It's very crazy. Team finishing fifth will get UCL as it starting from next season or current. Well, starting from next. Well, like as in like this season's like top five will get next season's Champions League, and obviously it depends every year what like how
Yeah,
people do in Europe and England and stuff. But like because of how high the coefficient is, it's more likely that I'm pretty sure England and Spain will get most of the time, unless the Spanish and English teams have a big drop off in Europe, like in the past couple of years as well. You got the Conference League is a big help in this because the English and Spanish teams will always go far in the Conference League. Like as Godfrey refers to, Real Betis to shock Chelsea in the Conference League could happen. Betis are on form.
like Anthony
Anthony,
Masterclass.
Pablo Fornals,
Yeah,
Pellegrini as a manager. Jesus Christ. Hey, Chelsea, do not look like you're going to. They're basically either going to buck Betis or Fiorentina in final. If they get Fiorentina, they've won. If they get Betis, there's a chance they lose. There's a chance.
well, you
I
reckon
need
Chelsea
Betis
beat
to win.
Fiorentina?
Our Fiorentina are bottlers, man. Like they bottled it twice in a row, bro. They're going to do it 3 times in a row. They're not going to win it 3 times. They're not going to win it the third time. They've not learned their lesson, man. Chelsea are better than Fiorentina, man. I've not even watched a single bit. I just know Fiorentina are going to bottle it. There's a gene in every team. So I reckon Betis might have something, but Fiorentina, nah. Chelsea can't be complacent in that Conference League, though.
No.
I know you're Chelsea in that, but it's not a God-given right. So at the same, because we didn't have a God-given right, because we didn't win a trophy in about 40 years, and a European trophy in over 50, 60, or whatever it was. So we had more motivation. Chelsea is kind of a God-given right, so you have to win trophies here. So you must. Speaking of Chelsea, obviously you man beat Chelsea on the weekend. 1-0
Yeah,
was one of the worst games of the season because no one had a fucking striker. But what did you make of it?
it was dull, Mike. It was so dull. Like, and considering, obviously, I was speaking to you just before we started, saying I'd had to wake up at 3:30 in the morning to watch the Australian Grand Prix. I kind of wish I went back to sleep after it rather than staying up to watch the fucking Arsenal game because it was so boring. It's like the ball went in the back of the net once and hardly anything happened for the rest of the game. Yes, Cucurella had a good chance. Raya almost spilling it into his own net. But apart from that, not much happened. Like it was a fairly boring game to watch. And considering it was like on the game on Sky Sports before the cup final, it weren't exactly the best game to watch. So I don't know, man. It was just dull. But what can you say when neither team's got a striker?
Yeah, it was poor, man. It was just I just saw the ball going in the air for no one to win any fucking header. I'm seeing Marino and Neto up front. Like, what the fuck am I watching, man? The Arsenal, Chelsea, and no one has a striker. Like, what on actual earth? Like, that was a
Sancho,
terrible watch, man.
Sancho ducking out of challenges.
Sanchez giving away the ball.
Timber telling Maresca to try harder.
Like, I just didn't understand the game. Like, I thought you guys were the better team, but you didn't really have to do much. Like Wanyeri was benched from Martinelli was murking Badia Shield. Like, what am I watching? Martinelli, Badia Shield. Like, what am I actually watching when it comes to Arsenal, Chelsea? I've seen Drogba and Van Persie and actual, footballers. Fabregas for both teams. I've seen actual footballers in for both clubs, like watching as a neutral. This fixture used to be, for me, the most entertaining fixture in the league at one point because of the amount of good players both teams had. I'm now watching Martinelli, Nkunku, Badia Shield, Robert Sanchez. Like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck am I actually watching, bro? Like, what on earth is going on? Like, I thought the way Maresca approached it was absolutely awful because it looked like they tried to play for the draw, but stayed open anyway. I'm seeing Fofana at right back and Reece James in midfield. I don't know what's going on. Your best right back is in midfield. Your best centre back is in right back. That's a red flag. Your goalkeeper is when Sanchez shaved his head, I have to say he looked like an outfield player. He looked like an outfield. Like he just looked like an outfield player in goal. You know that guy who says in pro clubs, I'll go and goal, but they don't change it to goalkeeper. They stay as the winger pro.
No, he's the guy that offers to go in goal when the goalie gets sent off.
Yeah, exactly. and he looks like it though. Like looks wise and playing wise. You can't shave your head and be even worse.
Did you manage to catch the highlights
of what?
Of the Arsenal game against Chelsea?
I watched it, bro. I watched the whole thing.
Did you see the way he flapped at the ball?
Yeah.
When Marino headed it.
What the? Like it's like he's trying the camera save thing too much. Like you're trying to camera save it, but you can catch the ball.
Looks like he's doing quick time events, bro.
He looks like he's in quicksand, bro. Like legitimately, he looks like he just came out of Tatooine, bro.
Robert Sanchez.
Yeah, literally.
No, that was terrible. That was terrible.
But I can't lie. You can't be called Sanchez and be a goalie.
No.
Like I can't lie. Sanchez and you're called a goalie and you're bald. And you're Spanish and you got no technique.
Hella red flags.
Bro, you're Spanish and you can't kick a ball, bro. I don't understand. Because every time this guy's why is Chelsea going long for midgets?
I don't know. I really don't know. Like
Neto and Nkunku and Sancho. Who's winning? No one's winning ahead of that.
Against Gabriel and Saliba. Are you mad?
Bro, when Gabriel and Saliba saw the ball in the air, they're like, bro,
we ain't even got a jump.
Yeah, bro, they're looking down. They're like, he's not winning the header. I'm winning the header.
Stay down there, little man. The ball's mine.
Like, it's like Alhan where he's like, yes, Corodad, what are you saying? Like, bro, they're just looking up. They're just looking up. That's all they have to do. Like, if Chelsea had any form of striker, maybe Saliba and Gabriel can think a little bit. Maybe they can back off. They don't have anyone. Like, at that point, though, even with how bad, even if your youth academy striker is that bad, play a youth academy striker that's got some form of height or presence, because they still give you more than a 5'7" winger. And that goes for both teams, by the way. Marino scored, but it wasn't because he was playing up front, it was because of a corner. Well done, you scored a set piece goal. Again, set piece again, ole. Like,
First proper set piece goal since United in December.
So your
Because I don't
first
count
set piece goal in 2025.
because I don't count the set piece goal against Tottenham because that was an own goal. It come off Solanke.
Fair enough. First set piece goal in 2025 is mad because I haven't seen your set piece coach in a while.
Yeah, bro's gone missing. I kidnapped him.
Bro, I can't lie. I think maybe like Nicolas Jova, maybe he cheated on Arteta or something. And you guys haven't scored.
No, I kidnapped him.
Honestly,
I've got him tied up in my loft right now.
that explains so much. That explains so much. But if you kept him out, maybe you would have won the league. So it's your fault. But this is the thing. Are you just playing for the champ? At this point, you're just playing for the Champions League, Real Madrid,
And we can't even
and
win
all that.
that. We can't even win that.
A lot of your fans are saying because you beat Real Madrid 20 years ago, though.
It doesn't matter. Look at the players we had 20 years ago. Henri, Pires, Kleb, Gilberto Silva, Reyes, Campbell, Senderos, Flamini, ballers.
Yeah.
And now we're prattling about with Mikel Merino. What, you think he's going to do a job at the Bernabeu? Are you stumped? Seeing people plastering Merino's face over Henri saying, run it back. Run what back?
Your fans are dumb, bro. Hey, Marino's face over Henri.
It's disgusting.
I can't believe you're going to start Marino up front against Real Madrid against Rudiger.
Rudiger's going to have him on toast.
He's just going to do high knees all the time.
Yeah.
Take the piss. Trossard, Martinelli, Wanyeri should be our front line against Madrid, says Godfrey.
I'm inclined to agree. I mean, not only because of the fact that we've got no one else, but I'd rather that front three than having Merino as our focal point.
Yeah. It's worth trying Trossard or Martinelli up front instead of a midfielder who's never played there before.
Yeah, just move the midfield three back a bit. Play Trossard in the false nine. Maybe have him and Martinelli interchange. Obviously, keep Wanyeri out on the right. Have Trossard and Martinelli interchange throughout the game. Play a false nine. Nothing wrong with it.
Yeah. I think that's the way because Martinelli will at least he's not good, but you're running behind. And Trossard's played there before. He's played there for Brighton. He's played there for you lot, I think, as well, a couple of times, in a false nine. You ain't got Jesus, you ain't got Havertz. You sold Eddie Nketiah a long time ago. But Saka will be back there, what? No? Or would he not?
I think he might be back for the second leg. I'm not too sure.
Where is the second leg?
Bernabeu.
Oh, fuck no. Yeah. You might as well just rest him. Just rest him. For me, I personally don't see a point of bringing Saka back. No. I don't think he should play another minute this season. I think he should rest. There's no point. Because he already plays enough games as it is.
What is there to play for? What is there to play for?
Yeah, I don't see the point. I see my whole thing is as well, Saka plays a lot of minutes anyway for Arsenal and England. He's always going to play in full competitions because he plays for Arsenal. So you're always going to get some form of Europe. He's going to play 40-odd games a year. He's got this first massive injury. If you want it to not become a reoccurring thing, don't train him. I mean, don't play him, sorry.
If I was Mikel Arteta right now, I'd turn around to Saka and say, listen, take your summer break now. Take your summer break now. Obviously, we're not going to win the league. There's no chance of us winning the Champions League if you look at the teams that are still in it. Go on holiday. Go on holiday now. Come back in July for pre-season and we'll run it from then.
I agree. I think just rehabilitate, keep doing runs and stuff. Just go on a treadmill or some shit. You don't need to be doing 90 minutes of football. Maybe I'm not saying don't train him or anything, but put him in training. Don't play him.
Just don't play him.
Don't even give him 20-minute cameo. Don't play him because there's no point. There's no point. The problem is with Arteta as well. We've discussed this many times before, Alfie, with how he man manages and stuff. But if you bring in a person back from injury, what you don't do is if they come back from a big injury, no matter how big the injury is, no matter what the duration is and stuff like that, Don't then just bring him back and then start him for 90 minutes straight away, or start him from the jump like he did with Erdegaard.
Mm,
You bring him on for 20 minutes. You bring him on for 40 or whatever. Then you can start him. But Arteta, we all know what he's like. He
yeah.
might like he didn't do what he did with Erdegaard. Like Erdegaard came on against Inter last couple minutes, then he starts against Chelsea on the weekend. He's going to do the same with Saka. He'll either play in the league game that's in between, and then start against Real Madrid, or you'll just put him against Real Madrid and then you might take him off 65th, 70th minute or whatever. Like, that's bad. That's bad man management. Like, and that's how you know, like, the thing is, it's not really even an excuse, by the way, if you're an amateur manager or a new manager learning on a job and doing that, because one, you was a player.
Yeah.
You was a player, so you know what it's like. Second of all, you've been in the job long enough to know how not to rush players. You've been in the footballing world long enough to not rush players. So there's not really many excuses I can really make when it comes to Arteta being Arteta sort of thing. Like people act like because you're a new manager, it's like we've just introduced like a YouTuber or someone that worked in a bank or something that's managing for the first time. No, these guys. So most of these people were players, and most of these people have got their badges through something. Like it's not like even Maurizio Sarri wasn't a player, but he got his badges through doing courses, bruv. Like these guys do courses before they manage. You can't just manage for the sake of it. You got to have some form of qualifications.
And tell me this: after the previous charity match, the one at the London Stadium, do you reckon Burnt Chip would have let Theo Baker play 90 minutes? No chance.
No, no. I, bruv, Arteta would play Theo Baker every 90 minutes, bruv. I can't like
Yeah.
Arteta would make Theo Baker be in a wheelchair by the end of the season. That is what Arteta's like. And Theo Baker, he like, there's no way he's in his late 20s, 30s. That man is in his 50s minimum. Like I can't lie. Like the way he's built his hairline, he's built his injuries and stuff. Like that man
The
is in his
ongoing
50s.
joke.
That man is in his 50s. I do not care. We saw actually the same thing against Chelsea. He rushed Romero back and he dropped down
Yeah.
like a fly.
Yeah.
Same with Van de Ven as well. Did the
Yeah.
same with Van de Ven. Rushed him straight away. And apparently, according to the Tottenham fans I speak to, he rushed Van de Ven twice. So Van de Ven came back in the Europa League game like not that long ago. Then he got set back again. Then he came back again. Like it's not just Arteta that does it, but these are examples of managers that are stupid. Like even Pep was doing it this season, where they've not had a settled back four this season because because they play a lot of games. Pep is just rushing Ake, Diaz, Stones, and Akanji back constantly.
Yeah.
And then they've not had a settled back four all season, so they had to buy Kusanov. But is Pep's part of that problem? He knows Stones and Ake are injury prone. So why are you rushing them back? Everyone does it, unfortunately. Well, not everyone, but most managers do it. Like, so I don't understand managers that like if you want your best players back,
You
let them
keep
get
them
back
fit at
when they
all
can be at their
costs.
best. Yeah, let them come back when they're back at their best. Don't rush them when they're only like at 50% and stuff. I feel like that's just common sense. That you're at some form of desperation if you're doing that. And it kind of proves how much he believes in your squad. Because he doesn't even want to play Wanyeri over Martinelli against Chelsea.
Yeah, imagine how Wanyeri must be feeling right now.
I don't understand. Has he signed a new deal yet?
I wouldn't blame him if he didn't.
When does his contract run out? Next year or this year?
I think it's next year.
So he's got 1 year left. You reckon 1 year he signs?
You'd like to think so, but at the same time, you look at what's going on with Saka. Could it be Saka Mark II with Wanyeri? Is there going to be another player that's been ruined by injury?
Maybe, Maybe. Like, because even Wanyeri, was he fully fit when he got put back in the side?
No.
I'm not too sure, man. Like he's a good player as well, man. He's a pure footballer. I don't want to see a person like him, of all players, being rushed back because he's one of the few footballers that, if he becomes what he's meant to become, sort of thing, like the idea, like if the idea becomes into fruition, he's one of them players you pay to watch. And there's not many players I'd pay to watch in this era of football ever because like there's not many pure footballers out there. We used to have all of them, like in the same era, like 10 years ago and whatever. There's not many players I'd pay to see. And that's the truth. That's the truth of it. Like I have no idea who I'll pay to see. Like I'm thinking Yamal. I'm thinking like Palmer at his best. Not Palmer right now, but Palmer at his best. I'm thinking those kind of players. I'm not thinking like many players where I'm like, I'd pay to watch you. I'm saying Yamal,
Yeah,
and that might be it. I can't
yeah,
lie. Because Wanyeri, if he becomes the who he's meant to become, yes. Palmer when he's at his best, maybe. But Wanyeri, Yamal is that guy already at his age where he was developing young and then he became who he is at 17, sort of thing. So I want to watch a player like him because he shoots from outside the box,
I mean,
inside, outside, both sides. Like, bro, this guy's
we
unreal.
discussed it. We discussed it with Omar as well. Like we said that a lot of people nowadays, when it comes to football, they look too much on stats. They look at
Yeah.
GA. They look at expected goals and stuff like that. With players like Yamal, you don't even need to look at stats to know that he's the real deal.
Hmm.
Like this kid is, he just oozes quality, and you saw it last
Yep.
night against Atletico.
Hmm.
That goal to win the game, yes, it was deflected, but to take the shot on from outside the box.
Yep. Think about it, even him in the Euros. Yeah, that's a big game player.
Oh my god,
So
that goal against France.
he was scoring the same goal, I think, about 5 million times from that angle. Like he's become one of those players where club and country, you're going to rise in big games. He's become one of those players where you know exactly where he's going, but are
But you
you
can't
going to
stop
stop
it.
him? You're not going to stop him. And even then, even if you get to his left foot, he'll go on the outside on his right because he trusts his right that much. I remember watching the El Clasico at the Bernabeu. They thought you had him on his left foot, but he goes on his outside and just hits it in the roof of the net. Hitting it in the roof of the net against Courtois is a different skill level because that man is the nets. Yamal will hit in the roof of the net. Like he has so many kinds of finishes where he doesn't have one trademark finish. He has about 2 or 3 in his locker. That's a footballer you pay to watch. He's a great dribbler. That he should be in a previous era of football. He is by far the best player in the world. It's not even close for me. Like in terms of footballer,
I
he's
mean,
unreal.
you look at 10, 15 years ago, you couldn't even count on two hands the amount of quality players that we had at our disposal as football fans, just sitting there
Mm.
watching quality players week in, week out. But nowadays, you can't even like maybe you can name like what two, maybe three quality
Yeah,
players, like world class
yeah,
players. There's not
yeah.
many anymore.
There's not like all the world class players I'd say are already established. So like, there's no point kind of saying who's world class now because Jamal will be,
Yeah,
but we'll give him a few more years because I just don't like to jump the gun with
no,
anyone, even though I do think he will be. But when I'm talking players are world class, like I'm not I'm not calling system players world class. I'm sorry, I'm not because for me to call you world, maybe I shouldn't have the same standard in terms of like how I judge you in this era to the previous era of football. But I can only go off how I grew up watching football, what I expect from players and stuff. I get the game has changed, I get the game has evolved, but at the same time, I would like if I could put you in different situations in your position where you're able to rise on big occasions year upon year in the biggest of games on every form of elite competition, you're world class. Yamal is that. Yamal will be that. Like that is someone who could, if he's managed right, because there is a bit of a worry that he's getting rushed back when he's injured and stuff like that as well. He's going to play a lot of games. What Barcelona need to do, they need to keep buying top wingers to compete with him, so he doesn't have to drag Barcelona when they're in the mud and stuff. And as much as he can be the main player, you can build around him and stuff. Doesn't mean he's going to be the only one doing everything. Like
mm,
Rafinha's there, but Rafinha's playing on the left, so you get a couple wingers to compete with them.
yeah,
Don't want to run him into the ground, like because I know Saka isn't as good as Jamal, but at the same time, Saka for Arsenal is carrying Arsenal at his age and playing week in week out, and we just discussed what that impact has made on him because
mm.
Arsenal don't sign anyone in that right wing position. Even Wanyeri's not a right winger.
No, he's a number 10.
He's number 10. He should be fucking starting over Odegaard. I'm sorry, but Odegaard had a good game against Chelsea, in my opinion. One of his few good games as recently. It was better than
Yeah,
how he was against us, how he was against Forest. Wanyeri should be playing. Just let Rice and Partey be the pivot. Let Wanyeri do what he wants. Have freedom. Because Odegaard, you ain't doing it right now. Wanyeri can offer more than Odegaard does right now. And just as a general number 10. Because Odegaard don't shoot from outside the box. He
he'll
hasn't shot from
do
outside the box in 2 years.
with Wanyeri. He'll do what a typical number 10 nowadays will do. He'll float. He won't. Whereas Erdegaard right now, he's just sticking to that one position, hugging the touchline, like looking to his right, seeing if his winger's making a run. Whereas Wanyeri will float. You won't see him stay in one spot. He'll move constantly.
Yeah, that's facts. But my problem is as well with that, you guys have got the manager that doesn't give the freedom for him to do that. Because once Wanyeri has been molded into how you lot play, he'll stop moving, in those areas where he's more effective, and start trying to get used as a system player, which he shouldn't be. That's the kind of manager you guys got. And Wanyeri is direct as well. He won't jittery when for the sake of it as well. He will just shoot on sight.
Take that goal against Girona, for example. Saka-esque finish.
Yep. He has that where that shooting from outside the box, man. We've discussed this before in the channel. It's a lost art. We need to see that more in football, and Wanyeri's one of them. Wanyeri and Yamal, two people that I can say that shoot from outside the box. Everyone wants it in the box at a certain angle for their trademark finish. That's the kind of things I'm looking for in world-class players. We'll see if Wanyeri will have the right team around him, have the right coach, but he's been given it, going to get the freedom he deserves.
Do you think Wanyeri should have been picked for the England squad?
Who's playing as 10 options? Maybe as a 10 option.
Because I think he should have gone over Foden.
But that's the thing. On form, Gibbs White should be starting.
Yeah.
I think he is going to go though, apparently, because Palmer's injured. So they called him out. I don't think it matters right now if Wanyeri's in the England squad. I just think he has so much time on his hands.
Yeah.
We don't need to rush it. I don't even think it mattered whether Lewis Skelly was there. We knew Lewis Skelly was going to be there 2 months ago because it was already reported that he was going to be. I just don't think it matters for Wanyeri right now. I think he will be given more time to play at his club for him to go and play for England and stuff. Because you can argue that it still hasn't been enough games. And to be honest, he's been in and out and stuff.
There's a lot of people I think. There's a lot of people I think who should have gone with the England squad. Branthwaite being one of them.
Hudson-Odoi.
Obviously Gibbs White, but he's going to be going anyway. Anyone else?
I say, I haven't watched AC Milan recently yet.
Jed Spence.
I'm sick of seeing Tomori not being picked. When you're picking Dan Burn and Colwell. I know
How are you picking Kyle Walker over Aaron Wan-Bissaka? Are you mad?
Yeah, Wan-Bissaka should be there.
Wan-Bissaka should have gone.
Especially for if Tuchel wants to be defensively astute as well, you're missing a trick. Remember,
Zaha said he's the only one that can do the scoop tackle. You need that in your team.
Wan-Bissaka loves playing.
Yeah.
He just loves playing football. If you want to be more defensively solid, play Wan-Bissaka. I've discussed this so many times before. If you want to play 3 in the back, if you're missing a trick with 3 in the back, you can play Trent wing back and Wan-Bissaka right centre back because you've got the defensive ability of Wan-Bissaka and then you've got the attacking threat of Trent. I know Trent's injured right now, but if you let's say ideally in a tournament, 3 at the back, play Wan-Bissaka in the third centre back. Play him and whoever it is at the time, and then play Trent as a wing back. You have the balance. There's a balance right there. Obviously, Reece James will. If everyone's fully fit, Reece James should start for England. Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, if Reece James is injured, which is very likely he will be because it's Reece James, play Wan-Bissaka. Because listen, The Reece James is the best right back because he's balanced, but we don't see him. But we don't even know if he can run like he should. Not in terms of like he can run, but how long for before his hamstrings turn into baby Bill again?
I said he'll get injured brushing his teeth.
Yeah, his teeth will fall out. Teeth will fall out. Ruled out to 4 to 6 weeks. Yeah, Wan-Bissaka has been very good for West. He's been our best player. He's been our best player this season. So, he's never going to get a call up. If he's not going to get a call up now, after the season he's had, he's never going to get a call up. Tuchel will never pick him. No one's going to pick him. A lot of people said, "Oh, how is Solanke getting picked over Watkins?" Is that the thing you're fucking focusing on, really? Out all the picks there, you're focusing on Solanke over Watkins. Bro, Solanke's a good player. He just plays for Tottenham, bro. He has good movement. They don't give him the ball. And Watkins was never that good before Emery. I'm sorry, he wasn't. Wan-Bissaka doesn't even need to rely on his pace. His pace is a bonus. It's facts. Because he'll just read the game. He'll read the game. His foot will already get there. The guy doesn't let himself down. I'm not saying he's perfect. But at the same time, his highs are it's just way more useful to if you got those lows, those highs will take over. It's worth having. It's just worth having.
I feel like with players like Wan-Bissaka, the way he plays sets it apart from a good player sets apart from a good player to a great player. It's the way that he reads the game.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough, he's not one of those players, like Godfrey said, he doesn't have to rely on his pace because of how well he reads the game.
Yeah.
And that's what sets apart a good player from a great player.
Yeah. And to be honest, the reason why I'm not too angry is because I'm selfish. I want players that won't rest at West Ham. So I as much as I'm happy for Bowen to get his call up, I would have rather he rested at West Ham, to be honest. Because Bowen probably won't play, knowing Tuchel, knowing England anyway, they probably just won't play him for whatever reason.
And even if he does, he'll get 15, 20 minutes tops.
Yeah, exactly. So I would rather he rested. We've got nothing to play for anyway, so it kind of doesn't matter. But at the same time, I just want to see our best players all play together at West Ham, just for that sake. But you have been saying Arsenal have been in the top 4 race for a bit, but at the same time, it looks like you guys are going to get second anyway because you're 9 points ahead of Chelsea, let alone whoever's fifth, like Man City. So from your perspective, from an outside perspective, it looks like Forest are getting third as well. Who's getting fourth and fifth?
I think City will get fourth. And depending on how well Chelsea do towards the end of the season, they may get fifth. If not them, probably where are Newcastle at the moment?
I'm just going to get the table now. So this is the table right now. Newcastle are 6th. Got a game in hand against Palace. That'll be a tough game.
I think 4th and 5th will probably be City and Newcastle.
Oh, you think Chelsea will drop out, yeah?
Yeah.
How come? What makes you put Newcastle over Chelsea? And what makes you think City will just get over the line?
I think with the situation with City, obviously, they haven't got anything else to fight for. Yes, they've got the FA Cup, but at the same time, they're going to want Champions League football. So they want to make sure they get that secured at least with 4th. And Newcastle, I feel like with going off the back of winning the Carabao Cup yesterday, it'll give them a bit more fire in the belly, give them a bit more of a push to try and get that last Champions League spot. And with Chelsea, you just don't know what they're going to do on any given day. It's like they could turn up and play fantastically, or Sanchez could drop another stinker. It's like you don't know. It's up to a toss of a coin as to whether Chelsea are going to perform or not. So that's probably why I've probably gone with Chelsea not to get Champions League.
Yeah, I do agree. I think City will get 4th. But just about, they'll stink it over the line. They look stinky. I just think, listen, that despite how bad they are, it's still considerably better than the teams around them. Chelsea, Jackson's coming back.
When is he back?
Which is a bit, I think he'll be back after the international break. So that's a big boost for them. They've got some form of presence up front. Um, even though Jackson maybe not be the best striker, he's very important, and he has
Hmm.
a great partnership with Palmer. Um,
I felt
so
like ever since I felt like Prime said, ever since Jackson went out injured, Palmer's been missing.
yeah, yeah, I think they both work well with each other, and I think Chelsea would just get over the line with fifth, just because Jackson's back. I think with Newcastle, they're too wishy-washy, and that's why I've not completely rated them this season. I think Newcastle
I feel
on their
like
day, with the squad they have, still play like 2 seasons ago. Newcastle on their
yeah,
worst day, they look like they need investment.
yeah.
That's why I think they'll get sixth.
But
With
but
Bryson
either
full of
way,
Villa, Bournemouth is tough.
whether they get Champions League football or not, it's still going to be a fantastic season for Newcastle. European
Definitely.
football and a trophy in the cabinet. Yet another team that have won a trophy since Spurs last won a trophy.
Yep.
The list keeps piling up.
Oh yeah. And
Who is
listen,
it now?
it's
We've
very
we've had what? Liverpool, Chelsea, United, City, Arsenal, Wigan, Swansea, Portsmouth, and now Newcastle.
and us.
And West Ham as well, of course. So what? 10 teams,
Yep.
could be
And don't
11
make.
come the end of the FA Cup.
I was gonna say that FA Cup. It's very likely that another team could win it. And do you know what? Fuck it. As long as it's not Palace, I don't care. Um, what's happening with Lucas Paquetá? His trial begins today.
Wait, what?
For the betting stuff.
Oh shit! Yeah, yeah.
So apparently it's like a 3 week trial, I think, and I think it starts this. So apparently it will last 3 weeks, and the English Football Association calls for the athletes ban. They're calling for a lifetime ban.
Bit
A
harsh.
lifetime ban from football. Like, well, I don't even know if he did what he did in it. I'll be real. The initial allegations and what the current allegation is, it doesn't sit well with me. I just don't think I don't think it's real for me because the initial allegation was the family members were betting on him in Brazil in Brazilian games, and then they changed the allegation of it was him betting on himself getting yellow cards in West Ham games. And the problem is with the allegations that one of the games they were talking about was a week before the supposed move to Man City, which was, by the way, the reason why he's not at Man City now is because of that allegation. And the game with that one of the games that they're trying to say he got a yellow card on purpose for was Bournemouth away, which was the first game of last season, which was a couple days before he was meant to move to Manchester City. So none of it makes sense. That doesn't make sense because that game was just before. So no one really knows what the fuck is going on. And to be honest, it as we know with every legal situation in any form of court, it's about what you can prove, not what actually happened.
Innocent till proven guilty, innit?
Yeah, I mean, I know people like to run their jokes and all that, but listen,
Yeah.
like Paquetá is just an idiot. That's why he gets yellow cards, not because he's got a bet on. He's just an idiot. He's just a normal South American that just kicks the shit out of people for no reason. He's just that guy. He's one of them. He's just reckless. He's just a spaz in the head. That is who he is. Like he's not one of them. Like, oh, I'm gonna put a bet on and get a yellow card and all that. I don't believe none of that stuff. I don't believe none of that stuff. So it is what it is. He's not really playing well for us anyway, but it kind of just says more about the club because we could have made a profit very easily. We had a release clause on him and stuff, and City would have triggered it at the time. But we could now lose a lot of money. A lot of money. Unless it's an English thing where you can't play in England anymore, then cool, we can still make money off packets up. But a lot of teams will still not want to circle around him because of this stigma. So it's going to be very difficult for us to sell him regardless. Regardless. So listen, people, we're going to leave it there. We're going to leave it there. Yeah, exactly. Too many change narratives. They are forcing it. They are forcing it, Godfrey. Like it feels too forced. But listen, Alfie, your link is in the title. What you got coming up and where can they find you?
First of all, you can find me at alphad_YT on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, as you can see right there. And as for what I've got coming up, obviously no match preview or review this week as it is the international break. But for those of you who are interested in Formula One, I will be doing a preview ahead of the Chinese Grand Prix. And make sure you check out my review of the Australian Grand Prix that happened yesterday. So yeah, that's what I've got coming up this week. And I will be live with Guna Gossip TV on Wednesday talking about all things Arsenal.
Listen, make sure to subscribe to Alfie. People trying to get to 500 this year. Then big up to Godfrey as well.
Big
Listen,
up
people,
Godfrey every
we're
time.
gonna have videos and streams throughout the whole week. I'm gonna try and get a live out tomorrow with a guest. I don't know who I'm gonna ask yet, but we're gonna try and get a footy talk. Try it every day. It's very hard to get guests on the channel, but we're trying to grow the channel, people. Yeah, content all throughout international break. So you'll love it, people. Make sure to leave a like on the video. Make sure to subscribe if you can do. Social medias are in the description if you want to follow me in the email for the inquiries. See you guys later.